Okay, we have included in the packet, or let me see, does anybody else need a packet? Has everybody got a copy of the packet for tonight? We've got some extra copies if anybody needs one. But we do have the minutes from the last meeting in your packet. Does anyone have any corrections or any questions about those minutes before we sign those into the record? Hearing none, I will move forward and go ahead and sign these for the official record of our minutes. Okay, at this time, we'll open up the floor to a public hearing. We have the following business. A rezoning application will be heard for the second public hearing. Map and parcel 0-206-060, which is 908 Lafette Road. Request to change zoning from C1 commercial to R2 residential to turn the existing building into a multifamily dwelling. Is there anyone here that would like to speak against this request? Anyone that would like to speak against the request? Hearing none, is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of this rezoning request? Anyone that wants to speak in favor?
Where is this at now, Shannon?
This is 908 Lafette Road, so this would be up there probably close to across from Lane's Funeral Home, I guess.
That's the one I was petitioning for.
Oh, that's your property?
No, it's Denise Patel's.
Yeah, the Patels, I think
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
So would you like to speak for or against this rezoning request?
for it.
For it?
Yes.
Okay. You've got the floor.
He's had this property, used to be Carriage Cleaners 8 years ago. I turned it into, remodeled it and turned it into the Tobacco Palace. It failed, and for the last year and a half, it's been vacant. He cannot get anybody to rent it, so what he wants to do is turn it into 3 apartments and try to rent it out as apartments.
Okay, so are you a neighboring property or?
No, I'm contractor for him.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he would have you doing the work on his
Right.
behalf?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anyone else here to speak in favor of this zoning? Okay, I'd like to hear from our Planning and Zoning Commission what their position or recommendation is on this, please.
Okay. We denied, the zoning request. Reason being is the lot is so small. It's definitely in a commercial area. There's really no good egress or to the property, the way it sits. If anybody's gone up that way, it was an old tobacco store or something right there on the side of 27. And so it's just not a good location to put people, residential, multifamily. It's not a good area at all. So
Okay.
we denied it.
Okay, so we have copies in your packet of the official minutes from the Planning and Zoning meeting that was held on July the 20th of 2017 at 7 o'clock at the Civic Center. And on number 3, item 3, is the discussion write-up for the request. And we see the last line there said the vote was unanimous, and let's see here, let me back up. Susan Tankerley made the motion to deny. Sid Adams seconded the motion. The vote was unanimous. The motion carried. So the Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to make the recommendation to the Commissioner's Office to deny this request. I have also reviewed this property. I am in agreement and support the decision of the Planning Commission, and so I'm going to also deny this request at this time. Okay, so that request has been denied. Okay. Okay. That officially ends the portion of our meeting for the public hearing. The next item we have on the agenda is more just for informational and tracking purposes. Call your attention to the statistical data report. We are tracking the data for our animal shelter, showing 2 months each time we report. So we've got May and June, we show year to date. And then also code enforcement, fire department, litter detail, Mountain Cove Farm, nights booked, and also public relations, media stuff. And so, one thing I want to call your attention to, I'm not going to read all this verbatim, but I think it's very important to see, if you look under code enforcement for the month of May, where it says in compliance, they investigated 358 properties in May that showed to be 100% in compliance. In June, they investigated 367 that was in compliance. One reason that number is so large, this is part of our campaign where we are going street by street, door to door, and looking at all property in the zone that we're working in. In that action, they did find in May 318 properties that had some type of violation. In the month of June, they had 190 that showed violations. So those were actually noted into the system. They notified the property owners, made them aware of what their violations were. Also in May and June was the first 2 months we started tracking in our system the number of closed cases. So these would be cases where there were violations. The property owners come into compliance. The code official went back and verified that. And so they were able to close out 111 cases in May and 101 cases in June. And so if you look over there at the year-to-date, they have investigated 1,137 year-to-date that have been in compliance, 835 violation, and we've tracked 212. So if you'll note there at the footnote at the bottom, we've only the last 2 months been tracking the closed cases. So there are other cases that have been closed, but we didn't have our database quite like we needed it to be able to track that and make sure that we're able to validate that data. If you look at the 2016 comparison, it wasn't tracked other than the violations. And so there was only 221 violations in 2016, and that's for the entire year. That's not a year-to-date number. That's a yearly total for 2016 of 221 violations. This department has already done and cited 835 in the first few months through June, through the first 6 months. So David Brown is here. He's our coach director. I commend him for the job he and his department has done. Do you have any additional comments to make on this? Okay, anybody have any questions about that from a code enforcement line item? Okay, call your attention, the next one there, it's pretty important to us, is our fire department. You'll see in May, the total number of responses of dispatch calls was 413. In June, they had 325. When you look at the next line item there, responses using the QRVs, that's our quick response vehicles. So you see out of the 413 calls in May, 324 of those was with the QRV. So that's just showing you a comparison that 413 of those were the QRV, or 324 out of the 413 was with the QRV. When you look at June, 293 calls out of 325 were answered by the QRVs. So we are seeing high utilization of those, which is what we were hoping for, which means we're having less structure fires that we're having to answer, and they're able to focus more on those first response, whether it be an accident, medical call, lift assist, those type things. So we're using those quick response vehicles. We're getting better response times. And then also on July the 1st, we opened up our 4th full-time station up at Station 2 in Flintstone. And within the first 2 weeks of July, and the number's not been on this report yet, but they answered 58 calls the first 2 weeks that station was full-time in service. And 54 out of the 58 calls was responded by a quick response vehicle. So we've had a tremendous positive impact up there already, and hitting well over 90% call volume that was responded by the quick response vehicle. So if you look at 2017 year-to-date data, they've responded to 2,195 calls since we implemented the quick response program, which I think was around April, if I'm not mistaken. They've already, almost 50% year-to-date. There's no data last year for the quick response, so we don't have any data to compare that with. So y'all can see the rest of the report there, but I wanted to point those statistics out. I'm real proud of what the team has done and the data that we're tracking and being able to analyze our effectiveness. Any other questions or comment about our statistics? It's a quiet bunch tonight. Okay, we don't have this on the agenda. I'm going to go ahead. There's another report you were given. It's not on the agenda, but since there's no action item, we're not going to add it to the agenda, but just in open conversation of our meeting, you'll have a copy of our income statement for the landfill operation. So you've got the long spreadsheet there. Does anybody need an extra copy of that? Everybody got that? Who wants one? You'll see there the annual budgeted amount. Basically, that annual budget is the previous year actual numbers. There was never actually official budget ever done on the landfill over the last several years. You'll show June month to date for 2016, June 2017 month to date, and then you'll show a year-over-year comparison. So you'll see that our revenue is up from $128,337 up to $140,028. Also year-to-date, we're up from $1,047,240 to $1,186,537. So our volume of dollars coming in is up. Basically, this shows you the detail of the breakout of all of the line items of expenses, broken out by category, where you have personnel cost. So last year for June, personnel cost was $62,415. This year it's $36,153. So we've had quite a significant cut in overhead costs for personnel. And if you look at the other type services, which would include maintenance, rental of equipment, repairs and maintenance, that category last year June was $68,138. This year is down to $55,486 for the month. The office supplies and fuel, gasoline, those type of things is about par on last year, down a few $100s. The depreciation that has to be figured on the landfill, as you'll see on the second page, is the same as last year. We have a depreciation of $30,100 per month that's added in. Also, just so everybody knows, if you back up one page, on page 3, toward the top, you'll see other purchase services, landfill, that's the post-closure. We're booking $13,816.30 per month, which is the same as last year. So we're booking in our post-closure expense and also our depreciation expense. So last year, for the month of June, the landfill lost $39,036.15. This year, the landfill for the month of June is showing a profit of $6,680.31. To my knowledge, this is the first time in many, many, many years, probably I say it would be safe to say probably 16 and a half years, that there has been any record or knowledge that after full load of depreciation and post-closure expense, that the landfill has actually showed a net positive profit. Absolutely. So, Payne Gillies here tonight. He's our landfill management director. Commend you for the work that you've done. Y'all have accomplished a lot out there. I know that's not the easiest job in the world, but I appreciate what you've done. I just want to publicly say how thankful I am that you're on board and part of this team, and very impressed with the outcome and the results, and wanted the public to know that we have had a successful month, and hopefully we can keep that trend going if we don't have any major breakdowns or uh-ohs or hiccups or anything, which can happen in any business, but at least we're getting to the point of getting this operational to a profitable standpoint. And that's a huge accomplishment from where this thing comes. If y'all will see there last year, the landfill lost over $600,000 for the year. We are year-to-date last year through June, it had lost $471,000, and this year we're at a negative $172,000. But we've got about 4 months of the previous administration, plus Payne, you started in about March. Yeah. So Payne didn't even start till March. And so basically in about 3 months' time, he's turned that thing around. So very impressive accomplishment. Look forward to very positive reports going forward. So thank you again for what you've done for Walker County. Okay, that ends the regular scheduled part of our meeting. We're going to officially adjourn the meeting, and then we'll open up the floor to any general discussion or comment that you'd like to bring before this office tonight. Who's first?
You got anything you want to share with us?
Anything I want to share with you?
Yeah, what's been going on?
Well,
Financial.
we are working on our budget preparations, and we will be very shortly posting that information in detail. In past times, the budget has been about 3.5 to 4 pages. I would say the way we're going to do the budget this year, where we're going to show detail by department, the budget very well could be 100 pages of detailed information by department, by category. We will be having at least 3 public meetings about that and going over that and listening to any public comment or input. Been working with a team of folks from the Association of County Commissioners the last 3 days. We've spent the last 3 days solid, 8-9 hours a day working in here, and them helping us try to find additional sources of revenue, helping us find ways to operate more efficiently, also cut expense and overhead. That meeting alone probably resulted in at least probably $200,000 in potential budget savings of things that they pointed out to us that from their best practices from other counties. So it was a very positive exercise. I'm very grateful for them coming up and helping us. Since we're a member of the County Commissioner Association of Georgia, they didn't charge us anything for that. So they come up here totally at no charge to the citizens of Walker County. They took care of all of their lodging, travel, food expense. They didn't even let me buy them a Coca-Cola. So everything they did, they come up here at no additional cost to the county because we're a member and we needed their help and assistance. So we'll be getting the information in the paper real soon, and we will actually be able to give everybody a comprehensive plan and the way we feel like we can approach and how we want to move forward over the next 10 years. So it would be more than just a thought process of year to year, but also outline some things of how we want to move forward over the next 10 years and what we're going to need to do to get this debt under control and get it paid off. Good question. Anything else?
What we're gonna do about this Erlanger?
What are we going to do about Erlanger?
We're gonna fight it clean?
I have a meeting scheduled next week with Erlanger. We're going to get the attorneys in the room, and we're going to see if we can come to some sort of compromise or settlement or agreement, or see if we need to continue to move this to the next level into the judicial system. So it's too early for me to tell. I've had a couple of prior meetings with Erlanger that I felt like were very good, very positive. And it was just myself and a couple of their people. This meeting's going to be a little more formal with legal counsel and try to see if we can come to some sort of term. So don't know how that's going to go, but we're going to give it a good faith effort. What else you want to know?
I don't know, maybe a second. It might ring a bell again.
I'll just cut up with you. All right, what else you got?
Well, I got
Okay.
I don't know why people call it. East Garden Farm Road, West Garden Farm Road, they can be straight. Why they call me? Said, do you know him? I lived there. And I said, they're running behind. I told them what you said last night, but they'll get to it when they can.
Yeah. I got an update from our road superintendent today about the progress of our grass cutting. We've had so much rain this year, plus we did not spray. There's several of you in this room that requested that we not spray because it seemed to be showing signs in the community of it killing our yellow jackets and trees and different things, and so we agreed not to spray. So with the extra rain we've had and not spraying, the grass has about got away from us. And so speaking with Carlin Bowers, our public works director, he says that we've got a couple of the crews that are probably within the next week will have now made one full round on their route. There's 4 routes, 4 crews. It's probably going to take about 2 more weeks before the second crews make their first route complete. I have approved and authorized for him, not this Friday, but next Friday, we've authorized for all 4 crews to work an extra shift. So on that Friday, they'll put in another 4 hours on all 4 crews to spend an extra day mowing, trying to get ahead of this. So hopefully by mid-August, at the latest, we will have made a complete round and they'll start back on their second pass. Looking at the timelines, they started, how much time this is taking, we hope to be able to make 3 routes before the year runs out. And so we're hoping by the Christmas break, we will have mowed all the county roads 3 times before Christmas break. So we got that update from him today. He's got this planned out very well, and so we're going to work that extra day. Next week, we may insert 1 or 2 more extra days in the coming weeks to try to get ahead of this and try to schedule out where we'll hit all these county roads 3 times this year.
Along that line, in Fairview, they mowed one side Monday. They did not mow any side streets Monday. They came back Tuesday or Wednesday and mowed side streets. They came back today and mowed the other side of the main road. If they would come in and come down one side, take the side streets, come back and forth. That's 3 days that they have covered the same place, and I think it's sort of inefficient because of the gas involved, the time involved. It just didn't make sense.
I think some of it's probably safety related. They want to go in one direction as far as they can to stay with the flow of traffic, to keep from having to stop and go to the other side and back and forth all down the road.
Well, this is in it's Fairview, Junior Road, Circle Drive, and Topaz and Opal Road. There's not that much traffic, and if they would, go up Topaz, turn at Stadium, turn around, come back, and then go on down the circle, and then come back. As it was, they covered that same amount of gas and all of that 3 days instead of 1. So I think their efficiency is a little bit off.
I'll check with Carlin and get him to review that, make sure these guys are following his direction on their routes.
To me, it just seemed like a waste
Okay.
of time and money.
Okay.
And also, they're not cutting as far back.
That's right.
That's another thing.
Right now, we're not. We're trying to get around to every road to get the visibility where people can see to get out and to be able to get to every road. So when they go back and make that second pass, they'll go a little deeper into the right of way. And then once we get on that third pass, closer to the end of the year, they'll go back as far as they can once the grass starts tapering off on the growth cycle. So they're doing that. If they were trying to mow the full right of ways right now, that they have the capability of mowing, we would really be upside down. So we're just trying to get it where we get as good a visibility as we possibly can. But we've got 2 tractors on 4 crews, and plus a follower truck. So we've got 8 tractors, 40 hours a week, and they're hitting it as hard as they can hit it. Because they know we're getting a lot of inquiries, complaints, and there's a lot of concern from the safety standpoint. So they understand they're under the pressure to get it done. All right, what else? Still a pretty quiet group. Also, we didn't have any printed out today, but we do have the audit has been released. It is on the website. That was done on the 20th. Was released on July the 20th. And so it's about 108 pages. So it does download into a PDF format, or you can save that PDF to your computer, so you'll have that file. Also, the 2016, 15, and 14 audits are all on the website. So if you'll go to www.walkerga.us and go to the government tab, you will be able to find the location of the PDF files of the audit, and you'll be able to download those or print those out. So that is made available to the public, and we made sure there's 3 years there. What else? Okay, well, it's about 1 minute till 7. I guess that concludes this meeting. Appreciate y'all coming out, and appreciate everyone's support, and look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Thank you for coming.